Chiefs miss the playoffs. So this is bold. We're starting off bold here tonight, saying the Chiefs won't make the playoffs. Well, I'm going to tell you that the Chiefs have a pretty easy remaining strength of schedule. They had the 29th easiest. They played the Patriots, they played the Bengals, they played the Chargers, and they played the Raiders. All of those teams are very beatable. They shouldn't have that much of an issue with any of those teams. Now, the Patriots can be a sneaky game, because well, they play really good defense, but are they going to be able to put up any points against the Chiefs? That would be the problem for them there. They should beat the Patriots. The Chiefs should beat the Patriots, but the Dolphins should have beaten the Titans last night. The Packers should have beaten the Giants last night. Didn't happen. The NFL is full of should have, would have, could have, but it didn't. So the Chiefs will have to beat the Patriots. I think they could. I think Mahomes can make that extra play over Bailey Zappi. Neither offense has weapons, but both offenses can run the ball really well, and both defenses play really good defense. It could be a really low-scoring game. It really could be. It could be a really high-scoring game. A lot of times when you look at a game that's supposed to be low-scoring, it ends up being a high-scoring game. And then you have the Raiders. They should beat the Raiders the second time around. They did just kind of put up 0 points versus one of the worst defense. Well, no, the Vikings aren't one of the worst defenses in the NFL. They're not great talent-wise, but they are coached really well. Brian Flores has them playing at a very high level. So, but still, they should beat the Raiders. Raiders defense is not very good. Although the Raiders defense has been sneaky this year. You didn't have Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati would give them the most fits, especially since Cincinnati can play some offense. And one thing to note that's very important when playing Cincinnati is, when the Chiefs are playing Cincinnati, is that the Chiefs, Steve Spagnuolo, he likes to run a lot of blitzes and man coverage, give you all these crazy looks, and the Jaguars tried doing that against Jake Browning. It didn't really work. Jake Browning had a really good day, and it just didn't work. So if the Chiefs go into that game just saying, hey, we're just going to blitz, we're going to call out man coverage and play a normal game, you could be beat pretty badly by Jake Browning on defense, because the Jaguars' defense has been good throughout the year. Now, the last 2 games, they haven't looked as good, but Jake Browning pretty much torched that Jaguars' defense. Now, you could play man coverage all you want and be like, we're going to count on Jake Browning not being a good quarterback. Well, I guess the Jaguars kind of forgot that Jake Browning has probably the best wide receiver trio and the best wide receiver room in the NFL. He's got Jamar Chase, when he can be the most dominant receiver in the league when he's on it. When Jamar Chase is healthy, he's one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in the league. He can be more dominant than Justin Jefferson. A lot of people prior to this year were saying, Jamar Chase has had injury issues. You had to say, okay, Justin Jefferson just had some injuries now too. So that argument is not fair. Plus, when you see Jamar Chase on the field, he is very dominant. But yeah, you have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. All of them, great playmakers. Charlie Jones. Playmakers all over in that wide receiver room. So, if the Chiefs are going to play that man coverage, blitzing a lot, then they may have a long day. If Jake Browning can get that ball out quick and accurately to his superstar receivers. I don't see why the Bengals can't win that game. I might even end up picking the Bengals when the time comes around, but that could be the game that the Chiefs do drop. I think that's the game they most likely lose down the stretcher, because in their last game they played the Chargers. They won't have Justin Herbert. Easton Stick will probably be the guy. Yeah, I think that tells you all you need to know. The only thing that was keeping the Chargers up afloat was Justin Herbert. Unfortunately, they're ruining his career. Unfortunately, they just, the coaching is horrible. Wasting him. Finally, get Brandon Staley out of there. Please, get him out of there ASAP. Please. So sick of it. Give someone that is capable to Justin Herbert. Please. Same thing they did to Philip Rivers. Very poor coach after poor coach after poor coach. Philip Rivers can carry the ship all the way through, and there's only so much you can do. Now, Rivers did have some really good teams for him, but, we don't go coaching. Sometimes it doesn't, it doesn't matter. But, so, the most likely win throughout their last 4, and if you have 11, and, regarding how easy the rest of their schedule is and their season is, they should be fine. They should make the playoffs. So I'm going to go piping hot with this one. According to New York Times, the Chiefs have a 99% chance to make the playoffs right now, and a 92% chance to win the division. We'll talk about the division in a couple of minutes here, because we actually have a hot take talking about that division, about a dark horse team winning it, possibly the Broncos. But yeah, I'm going to say it's piping hot. Even if they don't win the division, they have a decent conference record. Their conference record is 6-2, which is a very good conference record. And then their division record is 3-1. So even if they, but if they do lose to the Bengals, they move down past them. They do lose to the Bills. So if the Bills and the Bengals let's just say there's a crazy world out there where both those teams have the same record as the Chiefs would be the 7th seed if they don't win, or if they don't make the, the head-to-head doesn't really matter unless there's so many tying records. If there are a lot of tying records, head-to-heads actually don't matter as much. Because this past weekend, being a Colts fan, right, I was really focused on the Colts a little bit, watching the Colts. They lost to the Bengals, right? And the Bengals and the Colts have the same record, but the Colts are in the playoff picture, and that's because the Colts have a better conference and division record, I believe. So when there are many teams with the same record, the head-to-head is thrown out the window, and it goes by conference record and division record. And then it goes to head-to-head, I think, after that, probably. But I don't really know, because so we have so many of the similar records, it's really difficult, but that's all I do know right there, and I think that's the most important thing that you can take away from that, is that when you have so many teams with the same record, which you look at the AFC, there's like many teams with 7 wins that are 7-6, like probably like 4 or 5, maybe 6. Maybe I don't know. I don't think there's 8. No, I think there's like 6. But the head-to-heads don't matter at that point, because it's a big mess if you just go from records when you have so many teams with the same record. You just kind of have to go with the conference and the divisional, and that's how they decide it from there. But the Chiefs, who's going to take that 7th spot in the AFC? Well, I think I fully believe the Bengals and the Bills are going to make it. As long as the Bengals keep playing the way they have been playing, I don't see why the Browns do already have 8 wins. So the Browns, the Bills, and then probably the Bengals. If the Bengals can continue to play the way they're playing, if Jake Browning can continue to play at a high level. But you have the Broncos. So the Broncos can maybe sneak in there because they have a win over KC. They don't have as good as a conference record, so that's where the Broncos kind of fall apart there. But saying that the Chiefs are going to are going to miss the playoffs, I'm going to go piping hot. I don't see it happening. They're still one of the best teams in the NFL. No, actually, I am not going to say that now. The Chiefs are not one of the best teams in the NFL. I don't think they're a top 5 team. I think you have your teams like the Ravens, the Niners. I would even take the Dolphins over the Chiefs currently. The Cowboys, the Bills. Those are a few teams right there that I would say that are better than the Chiefs. I don't think their defense is great, right? But something great to take away from this season for the Chiefs is sometimes it doesn't matter how good a quarterback is if he doesn't have a receiver that can go out there and catch the football outside of one, like you have Travis Kelce who goes out there and makes big plays week after week, but defenses can kind of zero in on one player. But when they had Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, when they had all these different players, you can't zero in on one. You kind of have to like hold your breath and hope that none of them have a good game or none of them are on a good game. And typically when you have great players like Tyreek, Sammy Watkins isn't in the same tier as Tyreek and Travis, but he's still a playmaker, still a very good playmaker. Well, he was at the time. But the Chiefs missing the playoffs, I'm going to go piping hot. They have a 99% chance, so according to New York Times, and they have a 92% chance to win the division. It's going to be tough.